Hi, I'm Suzanne Rogers, certified fitness instructor, presenter, trainer, and wellness enthusiast.
And I'm Greg Ritter, licensed real estate agent and professional chef.
We are a recently married couple with a blended family. We invite you to spend a few minutes with us each week as we share our unique perspective on health, home life, and personal growth. Welcome back to episode 6 of Miking It Up As We Go.
Yay.
Today, we are going to talk about a topic that actually carries over to all 3 segments.
What? How's that possible?
I know. Imagine something being interconnected.
Wow.
I know. So, in our health segment, we're going to kick it off by talking about yard work.
Yard work.
There are so many health benefits
Exactly.
to tending to our lawns, our yards, or just getting your hands in the dirt.
That's right. Does it have to be your own personal yard?
No, I'm sure your neighbors would love it if you just do a little drive-by
That's right.
yard work.
It could, yeah. I didn't think about that, but maybe I wonder if there's a volunteer thing where you can go and mow somebody's yard who can't get out there and do
My
it.
good friend Julie has actually done that when she's had extra time and knows that her friends have not had the time to tend to their yard. She will do drive-bys.
Yeah, you get a little bit older, you're on a fixed income, you're not maybe able to get out and run around the yard.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm off track.
There are so many benefits, as I said, to getting out and doing yard work.
Yeah.
Number one, it can be a cardio experience.
It could be, sure. Burning some calories, also stimulates different muscle groups depending on what it is that you're doing.
That's true. There's a competition that I do at my workplace every fall, and we've got to get a certain number of minutes to equal numbers of miles. And mowing the backyard takes care of about 2 hours.
Right.
So I'm a ringer on the weekends when I need to mow the yard because it's just continuous physical exercise. True enough.
And I do like to imagine what I'm doing in the yard and how it might equate to what I do in the gym, because I think like that. And for me, when I'm pulling weeds, that's squatting. It's body weight squats, but it is still squatting, and you feel it in the quads the next day.
Oh, absolutely. And pulling some of the dandelions that we had in our yard is equivalent to weightlifting.
The human leg worth of dandelions that we got. Yeah.
So according to AARP, and we know that all of our listeners are not of retirement age, but these are benefits we all gain. The increased vitamin D from being outside.
Absolutely.
Decreased dementia risk. No matter how old you are, that's important. It is a mood booster.
A mooster.
And as you pointed out, it's an enjoyable aerobic exercise. That's probably debatable, the enjoyment. And there are opportunities if you don't have a yard, or if you want to share your talents with community gardens or your neighbors, it can be a way to combat loneliness.
Yes, absolutely. That sort of community aspect of it, being out around your neighbors, is, I think, very healthy for you. You know, this neighborhood actually has been, I think, my personal favorite in terms of relationships with the neighbors and actually getting out and interacting more with the neighbors. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. On the first beautiful weekend we had, most everybody was out taking care of their yards. We seem to have a common theme of the dandelions throughout. So watching how people treated their yards, got out, pulled the weeds, and everybody seems very proud of their homes. And we wave to one another and cheer each other on as we take care of that chore.
Yeah, and making it look good and just kind of consistent throughout. We're on a cul-de-sac, so definitely we want to make sure that we're doing right by our neighbors.
That's right. So this will tie into the inspirations segment, but there is a lot to be gained from the meditative process of getting your hands in the dirt.
Sure.
So if you are physically planting and laying down mulch, any of those exercises can be done kind of in a Zen like or a meditative way, so that you are intentional and purposeful about it.
Yep. And just having that connection to the ground, to the earth.
Well, the nature experience is growing in popularity as we become more urbanized. Doctors are actually prescribing that nature experience in order to help people with depression and perhaps avoid prescription medications.
Yeah, I think that's great. You know, the idea we spend so much time in front of screens, and although we distribute this podcast and all our other social media efforts to screens, one of the things that I really enjoy about podcasts is you don't have to look at the screen to enjoy them. You can, in fact, I do listen to podcasts sometimes while I'm doing yard work.
Let us know if you're doing yard work as you're listening to this podcast.
Exactly.
So, according to a study by the University of Michigan, 20 minutes a day lowers the stress hormone cortisol. And the benefits of being out in nature, however you may choose to be, but yard work specifically provides that opportunity. Plus, it can be a fun hobby.
Yes, absolutely. I like the idea that you see something evolve from one state to another.
Absolutely. Back to the exercise benefits. If you choose to use manual tools instead of electric, such as the hedge trimmer, you can get a true upper body workout.
Right.
And as you said, you can concentrate on doing squats while you're, say, pulling weeds, and always engaging the core is always going to provide a good strengthening and balancing opportunity that's important throughout life.
Yep, and better for your back too if you think about engaging that core as you're moving up and down. There'll be less stress on your back.
Absolutely. Let us know your thoughts about yard work. Is it something that you detest or do you enjoy it? It can be a chore, but is it a chore that perhaps you benefit from?
It's literally a chore.
Not if you love it. It's a fun hobby.
It is. We're going to be back in a moment. All right. In this week's home segment, you may have guessed, we're talking about yard work. That's right, folks. Yard work is, and perhaps this is the Captain Obvious portion of our program, but yard work is important for your home.
It is very important. It's a great investment
in
property maintenance and keeping the appearance of your home and property looking nice.
I believe they call it curb appeal.
That's true.
Right.
And even if it doesn't translate directly to a yard for you, if you have a patio and can have planters, potted plants can also have the same benefits
to your home,
and to your personal interest.
In terms of homes and home values, the lawn and garden store industry, just go into Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever it is in your area, is a $39 billion with a B dollar industry. Oh
Wow.
my, that's so much. That's so much billions.
That's a lot of billions, a lot of dollars.
I mean, I was blown away when I saw that. I mean, we went not too long ago and got 18 bags of mulch.
And some stepping stones.
Yep, it seemed like a lot, but it did not cover too much area.
And we have not begun to really put into the yard what we're going to this year.
This
so
is true.
We will definitely contribute our share to the billions on a much smaller scale.
Exactly. Well, there's all kinds of stuff for the yard, as we mentioned in the exercise, or I'm sorry, in the health segment. it's a good idea to use manual tools when you can, but there is a really cool thing that we heard about recently.
Well, even though I enjoy the exercise benefits,
Mhm.
I also believe in working smarter,
True.
not harder.
True.
And if I have some cool gadgets to make the yard work more accessible, and especially if, say, you're not around for some of the heavier duty
Mhm.
chores
Mhm.
that I can do myself,
Mhm.
so I especially love this one.
Yep. You guys, hopefully you heard our podcast on the robo vacuums. We've got a brand called Eufy. There's lots of other brands out there, but there's effectively a weed eating version of this called the Turtle.
Yes.
Tertill. Turtle.
So the Turtle is an outdoor weeding robot.
Yes.
It's really cool. There are videos available, and
Right.
we don't have one. It runs about $200,
Mhm.
but it simply rolls through your garden area and will only get plants that are cut off of plants, like a tiny little weed eater,
Mhm.
and that are less than an inch.
Right.
So it recognizes new growth, and then you
Mhm.
can stake off with little wired stakes,
Collars, yeah.
around new plants that you don't want it to get, and it recognizes barriers and any
Mhm.
larger plants. It'll just change direction and not
Mhm.
mess with.
Right. Well, I think the thing is amazing. I think they might still be in the crowdsourcing
Yeah, they were on
Kickstarter phase of things, uh, and they've got a couple of different levels that you can support the company.
We aren't directly endorsing that necessarily.
Mhm.
However, I just think it's really cool that such a device is being developed.
Yeah. Mhm.
But in terms of other easier to use
Mhm.
tools, the electric hedge trimmer is one of my favorites.
Yep.
I highly recommend the self-propelling mower. Some people like
Right.
the manual push,
Mhm.
but I can tell you at my stature, at 5 feet tall,
Mhm.
it is better that I get a little bit of help, as I don't have that much leverage.
That makes sense. Even for me, being a pretty tall guy, I got to wedge that that handle right in my midsection to get over some of the spots. And we got a little incline to the backyard, and so the self-propelled or the propel assist mowers are definitely cool.
And when you do have better tools or invest in tools that work for your body, whatever that may be, it's going to help relieve back pain.
Mhm.
I take great pride in maintaining my yard. It's
Yep.
something that when I was single, I really enjoyed investing in lawn tools. And in fact, I think I just bought myself a new mower when I first started dating.
I remember that.
I was very proud of that.
And we're still using it to this day.
Yes, we are. We've had it maintained once. There are a number of reputable small engine places in Austin and in other cities. So it's important to get your tools tuned up every now and then to keep them running nicely.
One other thing about the on the home side of the yard is that it can be an extra space for you. It can be when you tend to your lawn, when you spend time out there, you want to be out there more often. And for a lot of us, especially in Texas, we have decent sized yards, and it can add on to just the feeling of how big your home is, how big the space is that you can freely move around in and enjoy.
Sure, it's an extension of your living space. So it can become an outdoor living room. It's certainly a place where the kids can run around safely and in well-maintained areas that aren't going to attract rodents or other vermin critters.
I do, as a real estate agent, I get to see a lot of homes, and the ones that have functional and attractive outdoor living spaces are just simply worth more money. Tell us how you think your yard work, your efforts in your yard, enhances your home and home value.
Give us a call at
512 522 7097 and we'll set you up.
3, 2, 1. In our inspiration section, we're going to continue the topic of yard work.
Yard work, what a great idea.
Well, yard work is super inspiring because it can be used as a metaphor for life.
What? You are out there.
I am.
tell
But
me,
yet,
tell me your thoughts.
I am also grounded.
You are.
Which is the beauty of what yard work brings to us.
Mm-hmm.
Being grounded to the earth, having the opportunity to connect to nature is therapeutic, spiritual, relaxing, all the wonderful things that help us contact our spirituality.
Grounding was one of the notes that I made as well. Deepak Chopra says, we are bioelectrical beings and electricity is more stable when it connects to the ground.
Oh, can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, I guess any electrical outlet, any electrical appliance needs to connect directly to the ground, or the electricity doesn't have any safe way to discharge itself if need be. So although I'm not an electrician, as all the electricians who are listening to this will probably quickly agree, we are bioelectrical. We do have electrons within us, and we have electrical impulses in our brain, and the way our nerves work. All this depends on bioelectricity. And when we are connected to the ground, just like, the Vitamix, we are more stable. That's what I'm saying. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Excellent. Well, I also turned to Deepak and the Chopra Center, and they talk about the seven spiritual laws of gardening. And I won't go into great detail on each one, but there's the law of pure potentiality.
Okay.
So seeing something from seed to plant, all the potential in growth, the law of giving and receiving.
Okay.
Where we give to our gardens and receive the beauty or the bounty.
Okay.
Law of karma or cause and effect.
All right.
The law of least effort.
I'm loving all these.
Law of intentions and desires. Law of detachment, which is something that we've touched on before, of creating life and then seeing it die and recreate, letting it go. And the law of dharma, where my life is harmonious with the cosmic law. So you can go all different directions with this, but from a spiritual aspect, the meditative, relaxing, and intentional aspects of yard work and gardening are profound.
Right. I also like the creativity part of it, and that's very inspiring. And some people, and I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be tending to plants, right? It can be things like putting in artistic installations, or water features, or ponds.
Sure, the personal creative expression is endless.
Yes.
And if you create your own art, you can do it affordably.
True.
I've enjoyed our front garden with the St. Francis statue and now a bird bath.
That's right.
And looking forward to, and the little stepping stones.
Grounding, creativity.
Taking the time to do kind of the opposite of the exercise portion, but actually slowing down can be your spiritual time, your reflective time.
I think also in terms of creativity, just as you're going around neighborhoods and observing other people's yards, that's literally inspiring sometimes to see what other people do.
Absolutely inspiring. And I have great gratitude and respect
Yep.
for people and the effort that they make to make their space beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah. So what inspires you about your lawn or the lawns of others? Let us know.
And if you don't have your own green space to work in, how do you find that connection outside of your own space?
Yeah, that'd be cool to know. So please reach out, make a comment, or give us a call. All right, so what is it that you have been reading or listening to or watching that you'd like to share inspirationally with the listeners today?
Related to the yard work and gardening theme, a simple quote by Germaine Greer is, "A garden is the best alternative therapy."
Perfect. Yeah, that's
what's inspiring me and this topic.
all right. Wonderful. Well, completely off the subject, I have been finding inspiration all week this week with Johannes Brahms and the music. I did not know that he wrote that lullaby. So when you get a playlist going, you get to hear like 20 versions of that song. But Brahms was a Romantic era composer, and if you've not checked out the work of Johannes Brahms lately, give it a listen. He's got it going on.
And it might make you sleepy.
And it could. He did the lullaby.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Miking It Up As We Go. I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Greg.
All the best to you in health, home, and inspiration.
Perf.
Never done that before. It felt necessary.
So you should tell us what you think about it. Your normal voice.
Oh, there's motion at the front door. Scared to speak.